Kensington Financial Services has the tools to organize your portfolio. Stay tuned for Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents.
Welcome to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. I'm Ralph Phillips, and with me as always is my co-host Amy Tatter. Hi Amy.
Hi Ralph.
We're here at the lovely Holiday Inn in downtown Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and today we're going to be spending some time talking about estate planning issues and what make them so important as part of your overall financial plan.
Tired of struggling with uncomfortable, frustrating hearing aids? Are you ready to experience natural sound again? Well, Vivatone is your answer, a revolutionary new hearing aid that gives you the natural sound without the whistling and echo and noise that you're used to. And unlike many other traditional hearing aids, Vivatone doesn't require the creation of ear molds. To feel the immediate difference, visit Remetta Audiology for a no-obligation trial and ask about saving 20% on Vivatone.
Hi, I'm Ross Walker of the Ross Walker Funeral Home in New Kensington.
And I'm Lisa Walker. My brother and I are proud to carry on the tradition of caring for families as our father did before us.
Our reputation of dealing fairly and providing funerals for all faiths and nationalities dates back generations.
We believe our service is second to none. Call us at need or pre-need.
Visit our modern facilities. There's plenty of parking and we're conveniently located.
Sponsored in part by Emeritus Variable Life Insurance Company, providing variable life and variable annuities since 1983. Emeritus Variable Life is a unified company.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sure. I'd like to start off with a question that we received through email from Dale in Lower Burrell. He'd like to know why it is so important to have or start a will.
Well, Amy, a will is quintessentially important because it conveys your wishes about disposing of your property. So if you would like to bequeath or give your property to certain individuals, you would have to name them in the will. It also is important because Dale may have children that he would like to give property to also. He may have charities that he wishes to give money to. He may also have minor children who he can name guardians to. He could also appoint an executor to handle his affairs and wrap up his estate. So yes, it is important to have a will, because if he doesn't have one, he would die intestate, which means without a will. And without a will means that your property is distributed according to a plan already devised by the state of Pennsylvania. The final beneficiary of that estate plan is the state of Pennsylvania, if there are no living heirs or descendants in your family.
Chuck, tell us a little bit about the logical progression of how proper estate planning fits into an overall financial plan. What are some of the right people that need to be brought to the table? And in the end, what is the overall goal of an appropriate estate plan for someone? What are the parts that need to be included?
When you talk about an overall estate plan, you really talk about three components, Ralph. First component is a living will, and a living will is sort of a misnomer because it really refers to your will or your desires made while you're living. Now, the living will indicates what type of medical services you either want or don't want in a terminal situation.
What's the next part? What's the next thing we need to
the next, if you think about it as an individual, the type of things that you do, you daily take care of your bills, you take your prescriptions, you take care of your health. So one of the first things is the financial care of your person and your estate.
Okay.
But really, the financial your bills continue from month to month. If you're unable to pay those bills, somebody has to be able to act for you to pay those bills, or while you're going to default on your mortgage. You'll have your electric and utility shut off, so you have to have somebody take care of your financial aspects. And that's generally referred to as the estate. The other portion that you need taken care of, Ralph, is that those health care decisions, that should you be unable to make those, who's going to decide for you whether you need this type of operation, whether treatment A versus treatment B is going to be more beneficial for you. If you're unable to do that, it'd be a good idea to have somebody that's qualified to be able to make those decisions for you. And that's if you can't make those decisions.
And what is that part of the estate plan called? Is that power of attorney?
It's a health care directive. It is a power of attorney. It is a grant of authority to somebody else to make decisions for you.
While you're living. That's why it's called a living will.
But we're talking about powers of attorney now.
Before you go into the powers of attorney, though, the living will is called living will because it's a legal document stating what you want to have done while you're living, only if you're incapable of making decisions for yourself. Is that correct?
That's correct, David.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear before we move on to the power of attorney.
It's your wishes of the type of treatment that you either do or do not want to have in that terminal situation when you are unable to make your own decisions. You're
Okay.
unconscious, your terminal will.
And at what point, who decides that you are incapable? I mean, I might feel that I am quite capable of handling my bills and what happens with my money and this. Who decides that you are incapable? Is there actually, you need a doctor's written document that states this person is incapable, cannot handle their money, we need to bring somebody else in to take care of this?
Different people treat that different ways. And it depends on the power or authority that you grant them.
Okay.
If you grant somebody a general, durable power, they can come in and act for you at any time.
Okay.
If you have what they call a springing power, means a power which springs up or comes forth when you are incapacitated, that's a different question. That's a medical decision at that time of whether you are capable or not to handle your own affairs.
Okay, now does this tie in with the power of attorney? Is this where power of attorney comes in?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Folks, we'll be right back, so please stay with us.
Got a great idea for a new TV show but don't know the right direction? Well, there's a local studio that can show you the way. AKLC Studios in Arnold is a professional company that can provide you with an experienced production team with the skills you need to see your project through and at a cost you can afford. AKLC Studios can also fulfill any and all of your other video production needs. Contact them today to get professional quality at hometown prices.
There is a bank that makes a great addition to any small business or a great beginning for any entrepreneur, a bank that's focused on building a personal relationship with you. Enterprise Bank employs highly professional relationship managers with a vested interest in helping your business grow. They themselves are small business entrepreneurs who can empathize with the challenges of growing a small business. For your business needs, count on Enterprise Bank, the bank that is built for your business.
For all of your estate planning or estate settlement needs, you can depend on attorney Charles E. Weston to develop a plan that fits your specific need. With over 30 years of experience, your needs are in good hands. Call for a free consultation on any estate subject today.
Before we went to the break, we were talking about powers of attorney. You had mentioned that there are two different types, two basic different types, a durable power of attorney and a
What we call springing power of attorney. But instead of calling them powers of attorney, I think it's always best when I talk to clients saying, what are your wishes and when do you want them to take effect? Do you want somebody to have the authority all the time or do you want to limit it? So when you look at it from the perspective of you granting somebody some rights, when do you want them to have those rights? Should it be all the time? Should it come up in certain situations? And this depends on the individual's personality, Ralph. So what I always look at, I say, what would you like to do?
Let me make sure that I understand. So in the case of a durable power of attorney, that if I complete one of those right now, I'm doing so and giving up the right to make decisions for myself immediately. No?
It is not you giving up the right.
Okay.
It is you granting the right to somebody else.
Okay.
to also make those for you. And when you think about durable, just take a look at the word. It's durable. Should you become incapacitated, it still lasts. Powers of attorney, particularly durable powers, extinguish on a person's death because there's no more need to act for them.
Who can I designate with power of attorney on my behalf? Anyone?
We recommend that you can designate anybody, but we recommend that you give the authority to a person that has the skills to be able to, again, on the financial side, your financial affairs, and on the healthcare side, somebody that understands the different types of healthcare treatments and decisions that would have to be made for you.
Do I need to consult with an attorney to set up a power of attorney, or even something we talked about earlier, a living will?
There are several forms out there that you can use. One of the things I've found difficult for people is understanding how the forms interrelate and what they mean to them individually with the different clauses. And I think it would be wise to consult with an attorney to understand actually what you're getting into and what the ramifications of your decisions are.
So there is actually a legal document then after you create powers of attorney that people look at. In other words, if I become incapable of taking care of my property, I already had this power of attorney set up. Is it an actual piece of paper that has somebody's professional signature on it stating, this is what Amy said she wants to happen, now you can go ahead and do that?
It does state your wishes.
Okay.
There is an attorney designated there.
Okay.
The attorney accepts the power. So if something would happen to you and say that your bank account is in your name only, your attorney would be able to take those documents to the bank,
Okay.
say that you're attorney, and they would be able to take care of your affairs based on that power of attorney.
Okay.
The next logical thing to talk about is a will.
Yeah. What we've talked about so far, living will covers terminal situations and the type of treatment you would like to have. One interesting thing we didn't get a chance to talk to about, Ralph, and that was, are there any situations where healthcare professionals would not follow your decisions in a living will? And we've all seen it on the news, but we never think of it. And that is the case where a mother who has not come full term yet is involved in an unfortunate accident. She is going to die. The healthcare professionals will keep the mother alive in the hopes of saving the child. We've all seen it on TV, and it makes perfectly good sense.
Through my practice, Chuck, one of the biggest issues and toughest things for me to deal with is meeting with clients and prospective clients who feel two basic things about setting up a will. First, they believe it's only for the rich, and second, they believe it's only for the older. You talk to us a little bit about that. Let's burst this bubble right now.
Again, a will is your directions on disposition of property. If you would go into a room and ask people, anybody in here planning to pass away today? I don't think you'll see any hands, but unfortunately we don't control that situation. You can pass away at any time. Most people in a situation where they are husband and wife and the property passes to them by operation of law should one die.
I'm sorry, what do you mean by operation of law?
If you own real estate or bank accounts or any other property in your name and your spouse's name, you're looked as one under the law. That's why you have a wedding ring. The band is one. Should one of those pass away, all the property passes to the survivor. And that is, if you look at your deed, it'll be in your name and your spouse's. That is joint property. That property will pass to you automatically if your spouse dies. So people in that situation feel fairly secure. But you still have situations that can arise where, there are those rare occurrences where both spouses die. It's always good to have a plan in place so you avoid the pitfalls and problems that you may encounter in distributing your property in the future.
I'm going to stop you right there for one quick moment. Folks, we're going to take a very short break. We'll be right back, so please stay with us.
For all of your estate planning or estate settlement needs, you can depend on attorney Charles E. Weston to develop a plan that fits your specific need. With over 30 years of experience, your needs are in good hands. Call for a free consultation on any estate subject today.
At Kensington Financial, we pride ourselves on not only putting together the appropriate long-term plan for you, but also, and almost more importantly, on making sure that we execute that plan appropriately over the long term. Once we've done that, there's plenty of time for you to go out and enjoy the finer things in life, like a phenomenal meal and a great bottle of wine.
Welcome to Harrigan's Cafe and Wine Deck at the Holiday Inn in downtown Johnstown. My name is Amy Tattern, and joining me is co-host Ralph Phillips.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Ralph. And the general manager of the hotel, Mr. Samuel Phillips. Hi, Sam. Could you please explain the wonderful dish that's in front of you that we're going to be eating this evening?
We're going to be trying a wonderful dish prepared by our chef. It is a crispy roasted duck and foie gras with a potato leek cake, and the duck is on a sauce of plum and blackberries. We have a fantastic Pinot Noir from Chalone Vineyard. It's very highly rated, and the reason why I paired this wonderful wine with our beautiful entree here is that it has a lot of plum, and the plum flavors in the wine, along with the blackberry flavors, go very well with the sauce.
Folks, we'll be right back, so please stay tuned for a little bit more Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents.
Sponsored in part by Emeritus Variable Life Insurance Company, providing variable life and variable annuities since 1983. Emeritus Variable Life is a unified company.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We're at the Holiday Inn in Johnstown talking to attorney Chuck Weston about wills. Chuck, how specific should I get in my will?
Best answer to that is as specific as you want in disposing of your property. If you would like to give your property outright 100% to one person, do that. If you'd like to give your property outright to two people, that's fine also. You may also give your property out with conditions attached to it. You may give it out to that person in trust for their lives, and then with the remainder on their death going to somebody else. You can be very creative in this, and you can exercise a lot of control in the disposition of your property.
Or can they literally say, I want great-grandma's silver tea service to go to one specific person? Can you get that specific in a will?
You can get specific with a tea set, family heirlooms, jewelry, piece of furniture, a wedding dress, anything you may think of. You can specifically say, I want to give this article to, my son, my daughter, granddaughter, grandchild, as specific as you want to be.
And when I set up a will, how difficult is it for me to make additions or changes to a will? Do I need to rewrite the entire document and start again from scratch?
Depending on the extent of the changes, you may be able to take care of them with a codicil, which is changing one provision. Codicil is, let's just call it a rewrite of a provision, so you may change one provision. If you're talking about overhauling your whole estate plan, that's a different situation. And what we, taking the personal property, the T set, what we normally do with personal property items, we have a reference to a list of personal property items in the will that is called outside the will, and you keep this list. And you can change that list anytime you want. Should somebody irritate you, and you've already heard Grandma say, I'm going to go back and change it. She's not getting that ring. I'm giving it to somebody else. Grandma can go back and change that list that's referenced in the will and change that bequest to somebody else.
So that's what,
without changing the will.
That's what that means when you say you're going to write someone out of your will.
That's what it means.
Chuck, is there any way, any situation that a will can be overwritten, overlooked, not followed?
There could be interpretation issues, and that would go to the drafting. Other situations which are very rare, all of a sudden missing will, lost. Recommend that you keep your will in a safe deposit box, because if they're searching for a will after your death, they're allowed to go into a safe deposit box to perform a will search. There's an inventory taken of that will, giving the date of the will and who the executors are named in the will.
Should you let someone who you, this may seem like a particularly obvious question, but should you inform your chosen executor that you want them to be executor, or do they actually have to sign off it and agree to be executor of your estate when you pass away?
It's a good idea to check with the person before you name them as executor. Even though an executor is appointed in the will, that executor may decline to serve. And that's why there's always an alternate executor.
One last question about wills before we move on to another subject. A legal term that I think many of us have heard many times. What is probate?
Probate in Pennsylvania is handled by the Orphans Court Division. And what probate is the process of gathering up your assets, liquidating or distributing according to a will, if there is one, and accounting for all the assets that you have, all the bills that are taken care of, and the remainder that is distributed to the beneficiaries of the will. So probate is the legal process of gathering assets, paying bills, accounting for all the assets and expenditures, and eventually the distribution of the property according to the person's desires if they're a will, and if it's intestate, the distribution according to the intestate laws.
Again, what does intestate mean?
Intestate simply means I don't have a will.
Okay. Well, the process after you die in the Orphans Court, probate.
Yes.
Is it it would seem to me that it's a public process. At some point, if I wanted to, as a third party, as an outside party, I could have access to this documentation because it's taking place in the courts. Is that a fair?
That's a true statement.
Is there any way for us to avoid probate? Is there any way for us to not have all that information out there in the public?
A lot of people are setting up living trusts, so we could talk about that in a moment. But I always look at it this way. Certainly it's accessible. When was the last time that you or anybody you know went down to probate court and looked at one of these files?
Never.
Last week?
Never.
Never. I never go look at them.
Can you give us a little bit of a background here and tell us what kind of a situation someone might find themselves in if they have to go into a nursing home?
Unfortunately, with all of us living longer, we're exposed to more health problems, and particularly health problems that incapacitate us and don't allow us to take care of our daily needs, our household, or even prepare food. So we're put in situations where we may be required to go to a nursing home. Now, what happens when you go to a nursing home is it's expensive. I think the average cost of a nursing home is somewhere around $6,000 a month. So if you go into a nursing home, you're going to have to pay for those services. And generally that comes out of your savings account. You get Social Security, and that's applied to it. If you get a pension, that also is applied to your care. But most people want to get Medicaid funding for the nursing home. They want to be able to have the state or somebody else pay. And that's a difficult situation because normally at advanced stages of life, the parent or the elder person has put their money into a joint account with a brother, a child, somebody else, and that's sitting there in Aunt Bessie and or Sam is joint tenants, and Sam's going to get the money if something happens to Aunt Bessie. So when they go into a nursing home, unfortunately, that money is counted in and is to be contributed to the person's bills in a nursing home.
How far does this go? How far would someone who goes into a nursing home, how much would they, of their own assets, would they have to spend down before Medicare would help them pay for these costs?
To become eligible for some subsistence, your assets can be no greater than $2,000. So you're talking about a huge drawdown in these cases. Huge drawdown.
One of the products that's out there that we find ourselves using more and more is long-term care insurance.
I can't say enough about long-term care insurance. I think it should be a consideration in everybody's plan. Nursing homes are becoming more and more prevalent in our society. The ones I've visited are full. And with the advancement in healthcare, I think the capacity is going to increase and we're still going to be full.
Excellent.
So we're looking at a real problem here because it is drawing down those anticipated inheritance for our beneficiaries in a rapid fashion. You know, $6,000 a month, and that's the average. Depending on the level of care, it may be more. So it's $6,000 a month. It's not going to take long to draw this money down. You take the $6,000, subtract out what you get for Social Security, subtract out what you get for a pension, and again, the number is going to be less. And if it's $4,000 a month, you're looking at approximately $50,000 a year that's going to be taken away from your estate and used to fund your care in a nursing home.
Very good. Folks, we're going to take a break for just a couple of minutes. Amy and I would like to thank Attorney Charles Weston for joining us today, talking about some estate planning basics. I think that, as you can tell, there's a lot more here than just meets the eye. Fairly complicated. So when we come back, Amy and I are going to talk about some things, some very basic things that you should know, some phone numbers, some ways to get some information for yourselves. So please hang on with us because we'll be right back.
Don't wait until it's too late. Burglar, fire, hold-up, and medical alarms for your home, commercial, or industrial needs. Signalgraph Security is a local company that can provide you with the security and service you want. Signalgraph Security will custom design a system for your home or business at a reasonable price and provide with prompt service when you need it most. At Signalgraph Security, you talk to the same people every time. So for all your security needs, and to save at least 10%, call Signalgraph Security, where your security is our concern.
Tax season is here, and with Burton Accounting Services, you can file your taxes and get a quick refund through a refund anticipation loan in 1 to 2 days upon bank approval, or get a rapid transfer in 14 days upon tax return acceptance. Tracy Burton at Burton Accounting Services in Tarentum can file your taxes and get your refund quick. Call Burton Accounting Services, 724-224-4789.
During Ladle's Kitchen, I am here to show you how to make marvelous soups for your family, great entrees, desserts, and even some appetizers. But my other love is decorating. As you can see, many of these items were purchased at Ladle's Country Cupboard, just a few steps away. Visit Ladle's Country Cupboard to pick up an item for your home or for your kitchen. Thank you.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. Thank you so much for joining us on our show about estate planning basics.
We'd like to thank Attorney Chuck Weston from Lower Borough, and he gave us so much information. It's not difficult, but there is a lot to absorb. So if you have any questions,
please call us at 724-334-1950. Drop us an email at questions@kensingtonfinancial.com. And as always, please, if you're in Lower Borough, stop in and visit us. Amy and I always have some coffee going. We'll sit down and have a little bit of coffee and talk about any issues that are important to you. Our office is located at 2664 Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
thank you for watching.
Bye-bye. Why? Because you punched the camera?
Very exciting. I'll do that again, okay? Oh, to Mr. Wallace. Yeah, that would be. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. We appreciate your time.
Keep talking. Oh, okay, I'm keeping talking. Yeah, what are we supposed to talk about?
Anything. Welcome to Harrigan's Cafe.
Ready?
Yes.
How is the side? Okay, next we're going to do the chicken.